We're staying in our new metal plate.dwg file. And we're going to take a look now at placing some annotative dimensions in our drawing. Now, we've already got dimensions in there and they're already annotative. How do you tell that? You just hover over a dimension. Can you see the little triangle symbol there? Like we had with the annotative text, you can see that that lets me know that I'm using an annotative dimension style. Now, make sure that you're using the dimensions layer as your current layer, or go to the Annotate tab on the ribbon, Dimensions panel, and make sure that your dim layer override is set to dimensions. Doesn't matter, because if you're using the dim layer override, the dimensions will go on the dimensions layer anyway, like they should. Now, we're going to place some annotative dimensions. Make sure you're using an annotative dimension style. Again, it's on the dimensions panel. See training anno there? It's got the blue symbol letting you know it's annotative. So select training anno, like so. So that's an annotative dimension style. We're going to place 3 simple linear dimensions. But before we do that, we're going to go down to the status bar here and select our annotation scale. It should be 1:2. I'll explain why in a moment. Now, we're going to go to linear here on the flyout. Select linear. There we go. And I'm going to go from this endpoint snap to this endpoint snap. Drag out a little bit, click again. There's my 15 thickness of my metal plate. I'm going to right click, repeat dim linear, and go endpoint there, drag out a bit. And if you line in with the endpoint on the previous 15 dimension, they just tally up nicely and look neatly aligned. Last but not least, we're going to do another linear dimension. So we can right click, repeat dim linear, and it's a very simple endpoint there to endpoint there on the side view, drag it down a bit, click again, and there's our 500 overall dimension as well. Now, those have all gone in on a 1:2 annotation scale. There it is there on the status bar. If I now go to the sections and elevations layout, you can see they all appear nicely because the viewport scale is also 1:2, as you can see there, like so. Now, the thing is, with all of this, you've got to make sure that your dimensions are using the appropriate annotation scale. Let me show you what I mean. If I go back to the model tab now, what I'll do is I'll select the 500 dimension. I'll right click and I'll go to annotative object scale, add delete scales. At the moment, it's using 1:2. I'm going to add 1:1, like so, and I'm going to OK it. I'm going to select 1:2 and I'm going to delete it. When I click on OK, can you see the dimension and the arrowheads and the text get a bit smaller? If I now go back to the sections and elevations here, can you see that dimension has disappeared? That's because this little icon down here on the status bar is on. Add scales to annotative objects when the annotation scale changes. What's happened there basically is that particular annotative dimension is not at the appropriate annotation scale. So if I now go back to model and select my 500 again, right click, and we go annotative object scale, add delete scales. I'll add the 1:2 again, and I'll delete the 1:1 and OK that. You can see it goes back to its original size, go back to sections and elevations, and it's back again. So make sure you use the appropriate annotation scale for your annotative dimensions when you're using an annotative dimension style. Then they display in the appropriate viewports in your layout tabs.